So I guess we can start with a couple of these questions from our frequently asked questions list. A couple of them we'll get into during the going through the application, but the first one is just like kind of an overview. So what is the lottery for? The lottery is for the sale of 3 two-family homes located at 278 Pine Street, 291 Walnut Street, and 299 Walnut Street in Holyoke. The homes are being sold under a lottery system to provide fair access to interested buyers. So to enter the lottery, if you want to purchase one of the houses, you'll have to fill out an application. You can either find that online on our website at oneholyoke.org/homes-for-sale/. It's in all our social media posts too. Or you can come to our office at 70 Lyman Street and pick up an application. You'll have to turn in the application with a couple forms, and we'll go over what those are too. And then once you've turned it in, as long as we have all your forms as well, you'll be entered into the lottery, have an opportunity to win one of the houses.
To buy.
To win the opportunity to buy one of the houses. And the deadline is August 30th at 4:30 p.m. So now I think we can start. So that's kind of, so if you win the lottery, you'll have the opportunity to buy one of the houses. And again, if you have any questions, you can reach out to me or Nairobi through email. My email is georgiana.brown@oneholyoke.org, and Nairobi's is nairobi.rosa@oneholyoke.org. So we can start looking through the application because it is a little dense. But a lot of it should be pretty self-explanatory, but we'll just go through and put it all up on the slides. So this is the first page. It's the application to be entered into the lottery for the sale, 4:30 p.m. Friday, August 30th. And once you've completed your application and your supporting documents, you can drop it off here at our office at 70 Lyman Street, or you can email it to me, georgiana.brown@oneholyoke.org. So the first thing to do on the application is you'll rank your choice of properties. The way this works is that you will pick one top choice. So you will circle the 1 for one of the houses, whichever one you want the most. And then you can pick like your second choice, your third choice, or not interested. But it's very important to only pick one top choice because the way the lottery draw will work is that we'll have all the lottery numbers separated based on what your top choice was. So if you submit your application and your top choice is 278 Pine Street, you'll be in the 278 Pine Street draw, and we'll draw 2 names for that one. Those will be like number 1, who will have the first opportunity to purchase the house, and then number 2, who will have the second opportunity. We'll do that for each of the houses, and then we're gonna draw a total of 5 names for each house to make sure that we have a qualified buyer, and then we'll be kind of working our way down the list if the person who's drawn first ends up not being eligible. So then for places 3 to 5, we'll put all the names together and we'll draw a name and then look at that application and place them based on how they ranked the properties on their application, that sort of thing. I mean, we can have more details about like kind of the lottery process. It's not super relevant right now. But okay, so the next part is applicant and household information. So you must provide information on all applicants and household members. But for this first page right here, we just want the names of the applicants that will be listed on the purchase and sale agreement. So that'll be like whoever the head of household is, if you have like you and your spouse, that sort of thing. We want your first, middle, last name, your current address. If you don't have a current address, you can just put city or town. And then a phone number and an email. We do need one of these so that we can keep in contact with you. Then on the next page, we'll list all other household members. So anyone who lives in your house, your kids, your grandma, anyone who lives with you now and will be living with you in the house if you were to purchase it, we're going to want that information here on this page. So including children and adults. And then you'll have your total household size. So again, that's everyone who lives in the house with you, your kids, your grandma, your spouse, any of those people, that's your total household size. And then we want your total household income. So for the application process, we're asking you to self-report your income. And we have a couple sections where we can help you determine that number. We'll look at section 5 in a second, where you can help if you, which is where we'll help you calculate your income. So once you have your size and once you have your income, you can go on to the next page. And here we have a little chart, and this part is pretty important. This is determine your household eligibility by household size and income. So whatever your household size is, you must make that number or less in order to be eligible. If you make more than the number on the page, unfortunately, you're not eligible to purchase one of these houses, your total annual income. So, for example, if your household was you, your spouse, and you had 2 kids, you would have a 4-person household, and your combined annual income of your household would have to be less than $87,600 per year in order to be eligible for this process. So if your household income exceeds that amount, we ask you to stop, and it's not, there's no point in filling out the rest of the application since unfortunately you won't be eligible. So the next part is the first-time homebuyer verification and education. So these homes are only available to people who meet the definition of a first-time homebuyer as defined by the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, and that they have completed approved homebuyer education courses. So to meet the definition of a first-time homebuyer, you have to not have owned a home in the past 3 years. So if you own a house currently, unfortunately, you are not eligible. If you owned a house 2 years ago and sold it and now you live in an apartment, unfortunately, you are not eligible. If you've never owned a house before, or if you sold a house like 4 years ago, then you are eligible. And if you sold your house 4 years ago and lived in an apartment since. But if you've owned a home in the past 3 years, you're not eligible, unfortunately. So the next step is to complete a homebuyer education course. So in order to enter the lottery, all we need is proof of enrollment. You don't have to have actually taken the class yet, but some sort of documentation that you're signed up. We have a list on our website of like approved classes offered from a couple different organizations. And then you can also find your own, but they do have to meet certain certifications. They have to be either HUD, CHAPA, or Mass Housing certified, and you'll get a certificate at the end. So we need a certificate that you've completed one of those classes that meet those qualifications before you'll be able to purchase the house. But to enter the lottery, we just need proof of enrollment. So we'll need some sort of like proof of enrollment. So the next thing is, are you willing and able to complete a landlord training prior to purchasing the property? This is something that we can help. If you win the lottery, we can help you find one of these classes and take it. We don't expect you to take it before entering the lottery. It's just if you win before you can purchase the house, you will have to complete one of these landlord trainings. And the home buyer classes that you do have to at least enroll in before, or even take before the lottery, there's a couple free options, but some of them do cost between like $25 to $70 per person or per household. Again, we have a lot more information about those classes on our website. We have some English, some in Spanish, and they are pretty involved. They're usually, I think it's like an 8-hour class, so they usually split it into like 2 or 3 sessions, but you do have to complete one of those full classes and get a certificate. Yeah. Okay, so the next part is the mortgage pre-approval. We have Harry here who's going to be talking a little bit more about this after we're done with the application, but this is the next thing that we need for you to be able to enter the lottery. you have to obtain a pre-approval letter from a bank, credit union, or other traditional mortgage lender that is acceptable to OneHolyokeCDC for an amount that is equal to or greater than $218,215. So before you can enter the lottery, you have to give us a pre-approval letter from a bank showing that they will give you a mortgage for this amount of money. If you cannot obtain that, unfortunately, you will not be able to enter this lottery. And again, Harry will share a lot more about how to obtain that, but we recommend starting the application process as soon as possible so you have plenty of time for the bank to go through everything and get you that pre-approval letter. Because if we don't have your pre-approval by August 30th, you will not be entered into the lottery. There's no submitting it a couple days late. We need it by August 30th, or you will not be able to enter the lottery. And if you have answered yes, if you have the letter already, or whenever you get it ahead of August 30th, submit it with your application. So this part has some more details about household income information. So in order for OneHolyokeCDC to complete income certification for a home purchase, lottery winners will be required to provide information and documentation regarding all household income sources. So there's like all that, and that's something that will be more important if you win the lottery. Like we'll need I'll show you exactly what documents we'll need from you to prove your income. For the lottery process, we need you to self-report the number. So the best thing to do is to find all the documents you'll need if you win and use those to calculate your income to make sure that it's accurate. But if you can't do that, just self-report what your annual income is. And then if you win, we will verify it. And if you do your math wrong, or if the number is, if your actual income is over the income limit from before, you will be disqualified even if you win. So again, you need to self-report your income to be entered into the lottery. It needs to be below those numbers. And if you win the lottery, we'll need to see the verification that proves that your income is below those limits before you can purchase the house. And if your income is above those limits, unfortunately, you'll be disqualified and we'll move on to the next winner. Yeah, so complete and accurate documented evidence of all income and assets in 2023 and 2024 is required to purchase a property through this lottery. If you produce that evidence but are unable to certify in writing under penalty of perjury that household income is below low income limits, you will be disqualified. So that's another, if your income doesn't match and it is above the limit, you will unfortunately be disqualified. So this is a little section about how to self-report household income. So you can and we can help you go through this if you need help kind of figuring this part out. But it's your anticipated annual income. It's all household members 16 years or older. So if you have a 16-year-old child who has a part-time job, you're going to include that amount in your annual income. If you have a parent who lives with you who receives Social Security or retirement, you're going to want to include that amount in whatever the annual amount is in your annual income. So, and consider any changes. And then if you have any assets over $50,000, so that would maybe be like a car collection or something. Again, for a lot of people, it would be a house, but since this is for first-time home buyers, that wouldn't, so this is pretty unlikely, but if you were maybe like a car collector or something, you're going to calculate that total value times 0.4% and then include that as part of your annual income. And so this section is really just to help you kind of calculate that number for the self-reported income. And then, so this is the terms and conditions. Each property is being sold at a non-negotiable sub-market purchase price of $225,000. So, non-negotiable, it's not a typical home buying process. So each sale is contingent on compliance with program rules. Again, a lot of this stuff is just, it's all in the application for you to read. has a little like description of each of the properties. And then this part is kind of important too, for a period of 10 years, the quote affordability period. All purchasers shall use one of the residential units as the primary residence of your household. So that means if you purchase the house, you have to live there for 10 years. In the event of relocation by the purchaser household away from the purchased property, the premises shall be resold to a means-tested affordable home buyer who will agree to be subject to the remaining terms of the affordability restriction. So you can't, if you buy the house, you have to live in it for 10 years. And if you have to sell it, then you have to kind of go through this affordable home buying process again to whoever you're going to sell it to. Yeah. And the purchase price in the event of such sale shall not exceed 1.5% per year of 225,000. And throughout that 10-year affordability period, the rental unit, so they're duplex houses, they have 2 units, you'll live in one and rent the other, shall be rented to a means-tested low-income tenant, and the rents shall not exceed the fair market rate for the size of a unit reported annually by HUD. So again, that's like, you will rent one of the units, but you will rent it to a low-income tenant, and it'll be a fair market rent. By accepting placement in the lottery, the applicant certifies that all the information provided is true to the best of his or her knowledge and belief. Let's see. The applicant acknowledges that winning an opportunity to purchase a house through the lottery does not constitute a contract to purchase the real estate, nor shall constitute partial performance. So this is basically just, you understand that you're just entering a lottery. There's no guarantee that you'll be able to purchase a house. You just enter a lottery, and then if your name is drawn, then you'll be able to purchase the house, provided all of the income verification and documentation is okay. And then to purchase a property, the applicant will need to qualify for a mortgage for the purchase price. Please be advised that not all lenders will provide loans for properties with recorded affordability restrictions. So again, get started on the pre-approval process as soon as possible, talk to your bank, make sure you can get that mortgage. And you will be required to maintain homeowner insurance, keep real estate taxes up to date, and maintain the home in habitable condition. Any challenge or dispute related to the execution of the lottery will be made to the executive director of OneHolyoke, and the decisions of the executive director may be appealed to the executive committee of the OneHolyoke board of directors. All decisions made by the executive committee shall be final. And then number 8 is just a little like some definitions. So these are the documents required in order to be entered into the lottery. We've kind of gone over this a little bit, but this is to be entered into the lottery. If you win, you'll have to give us more documents. So attach mortgage pre-qualification letter, home buyer's training certification or evidence of enrollment, a copy of your ID. So a copy of your ID of whoever is listed as the primary applicant and the co-applicant. And if you send it without those documents, it is incomplete and will not be assigned a lottery number. We are not accepting incomplete applications. So if you send us just the application and you don't have any of that paperwork, unfortunately, we will be reaching out and saying your application is not complete. You do not have a lottery number until you can get us these documents. And once we have those documents, then and your application is complete, then you'll be assigned a lottery number. But again, the entire thing has to happen by August 30th. We need the application and all 3 of these papers by August 30th at 4:30 for you to be entered into the lottery. And then we just have like a signature. And then we just have like a couple exhibits. So this is the property information. These are just links to the pages on our website that have some pictures of the houses and a little bit more information. We'll be adding more information in the coming weeks too about each house. Yeah, so you can click on these links or type them in if you right now. So you click on the link, you see it's 278 Pine Street. We have some pictures of it. And so there it is. And we can go through the full website too after this. The next one is some information about home buyer classes. So again, we'll be adding more information to our website, and I'll show you guys the website right after this. But we have a couple, there's just a couple that are coming up that meet the qualifications, and then Holyoke Housing Authority will be doing a class in September and October. And we'll just need, obviously, you won't be able to complete that for the lottery, but as long as you're signed up, that's totally fine. And we'll need it right before we close on the house. So if you're taking the class in October, we won't be able to close on the house until you've finished completing the class, but the closing process will take a little while anyway, so it's that class is totally fine. And then we'll put the registration information on our website once available. So definitely I recommend just keep checking the website. We'll be updating stuff on there as much as we can. So this is Exhibit C. We're not really going to go through this. It's for informational purposes only. So this is just to help you kind of plot out and calculate your income. Again, if you need help with this section, we recommend setting up an appointment and coming in to talk to us. But this part you don't have to fill out and turn in with your application. It's just to help calculate that. And so the last part is if you win the lottery, the documents that you'll need. So if your number is picked as a lottery winner, in order to purchase the house, we will need previous 2 years signed tax returns, most recent 90 days of consecutive pay stubs from each income source, copy of 3 months bank statements, homebuyer education certificate, which you might already have from lottery, or you would only have proof of enrollment, landlord education certificate, lender pre-approval letter, which you'll have already submitted with your lottery application, and copy of state issued identification for head of household and co-head of household. And again, we'll already have that from the lottery. But yeah, so that's where we look at, proof that your self-reported income is correct. And we verify that before an actual purchase is completed. So you win the lottery, you give us these documents, we do a like an income eligibility check, and as long as everything works out, which we're sure it will, but we still have to check, you will get a purchase agreement and you will become the owner of the house. But yeah, we'll just need these documents before you get a purchase agreement if you win the lottery. We don't need them with your application. So that's the full application. Now we can look at the website. Okay, so if you just go, this is our website homepage. It's actually right here. It's also right up here. Either way, go to Affordable Homes for Sale. And we've got a little description, ready to apply. We have the lottery application right here. We have it in English and Spanish. The deadline. This is the stuff that we went over. Now the stuff you'll have to submit, how to submit it if you win. So this is all the information about the whole application process. We have a page for each of the houses. We have a page here where we've been posting upcoming homebuyer classes. And we also, so the Massachusetts Housing Partnership has a search function. So you can click on that. You can click on if you want to take one close to here. And then you can select all this kind of thing. But you can look through here, or there are virtual classes. So there are organizations in Boston that offer the classes, but they're virtual, so you'd be able to take one out here through the computer. So I definitely recommend looking through that for a class. And then we have some frequently asked questions. We'll be updating these too. But this just is like some just some basic questions. So now I can stop sharing. Yeah, and we can hand it over to Harry to talk about the pre-approval.
This is Harry Montalvo. I work for BankESB, the Certain Service Bank. So, and I have today this opportunity to talk about for the pre-approval. It's easy to do it. What are we going to ask for pre-approval is just the last pay stub. We need the list of the all debts. And we are going to run a soft credit record because we want to know in what stage you are with the credit score. All the income docs that we will need also is like a social security, alimony, child support. All those documents we need it because we need to exactly the amount that you're receiving. With that, we can run the pre-approval. And the pre-approval should be for the amount of 218 to 50. And you ask maybe why have to be, to be approved for that amount because and the home value is 225. So what happened that you have to have in your account at least the down payment that they're requesting 3% of the 225, that is 6,750. That is down payment for the 3%. Most of the program that we have, the mortgages program that we run, we have most of the mortgages program, like mass housing, we have a conventional loan, so we have a fixed rate, we have adjustable rate, and most of the program, they request at least 640 in the credit report. So if the credit report shows something like any, let's say, late payment or something, you have to have answer for those questions, for why, what happened that you are late in that account or delinquency account. So if that is delinquency, you need to fix that before go to this process. That's why it's better to do it as soon as possible because we have just 4 days now, because Monday, maybe around 4 days to do this. So, and then
till August 30th. So a month.
Oh, August.
Yes,
Okay.
sorry. Did I say July?
Okay, so,
August.
yeah, so enough time to fix that on time, yes. So will be that time frame, you can do that if you have something, in your record of the credit report, and I'm willing to help you to clear that. So with that, I think we will be ready to go forward.
Awesome, thank you. Again, I can put in the chat me and Nairobi's emails. If you have any questions, please reach out, or if you want to schedule an appointment to get some help, with the application.
Okay, so I forgot to tell that my contact number is 413-779-2025. That is my office, the direct line. And my cellular phone is 413-342-9467.